And just like that, your favorite show on your favorite channel, Ebru TV, is back. This is Let's Talk, and we are here to spill all the tea, all the weekend tea, the beginning of the week tea. And guess what? We also have an amazing guest. If you are into photography, a lot of people are, you are going to love our guest, Sebastian Wanzalla, on the top of his game. So we'll be interviewing him later, so make sure you stay tuned to that. If this is your first time, this is Let's Talk. My name is Lydia KM, and that's Lydia KM on all social media handles.
My name is Dana DeGrazia, Tassel Goddess Online. Welcome to Wednesday.
My name is Naomi Wamboy, WAMBOE, on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter.
And I'm Joanne at yummymummy.ke on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Yes.
How you guys been since last Friday?
I am good.
Missed y'all.
I had a mishap.
What
but
happened?
better.
Which was?
I had an anxiety attack. I think I shared this. If you follow me on Instagram,
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling way better.
Good.
Steps, baby steps, and
Baby
today I
steps.
feel amazing.
You know what's great? I love how intentional you are. You're like, this has happened. Okay, how do I make sure it doesn't happen again? Or how do I like now move to the next step? It's just fantastic.
Was it your first one?
Yeah, funny enough, I
welcome
feel
to
like
the
I've
club.
experienced that before, but I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
But now, like, I have enough knowledge to understand, like, the experience.
You had a real
so
attack. An
So
anxiety
y'all
attack.
don't watch my stories.
I mean, I do know. I saw like you had broken out because of your anxiety and all of that. But an attack, that's something serious. Like that's your mental health.
The attack is a big
They
word,
don't.
but
It
like,
is.
you know
Attack's a
exactly.
big
No, I used to.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
anyway,
anyway, I'm feeling better.
you're feeling better.
Amen.
I want to hug. I want to hug you. Okay.
The only one who-
No makeup. Don't touch my makeup.
I would have hugged you. I know, right? Don't mess up my face.
Thankfully, y'all are the same tone.
Exactly, but so happy to have you guys here and feeling and looking great. We have such a fantastic show for you today. We are talking about celebrities, we're talking about radio show hosts, we're talking about comedians, we're talking about Kanye West. I don't even know what bracket to put him in because he's a singer, he's a pastor.
We'll
I
talk
don't
about
even know.
that. Yeah.
But without further ado, we are gonna go into Hot Talk.
Ladies, we're on top. We're on top.
Starting off the show with Jalango Ray. I feel like we all know Jalango. Very prominent presenter in the game, also a fantastic MC. Over the weekend, which I thought is something which we were celebrating, so I don't know why people are mad, but he got married to his long-term boo, Amina Chow. And, you know, they had a beautiful celebration. I was excited. I didn't even know he was with anyone. So that was a surprise.
way.
So
The weird thing is he
I
then-
did not know.
He then released a statement trying to say that it wasn't like a wedding and it was just like, no, you know, it was just like me seeing her family. And I'm like, so it was like a traditional, essentially,
confused.
you're on
Yeah.
the way there.
I thought that this guy was a whole single, but he wasn't.
He acted-
And apparently they tied the knot. But this is making news for different reasons because Jalango is Luo, and Luo women feel like, how could you go all the way to Taita when your home ladies are right here? So he responded to that. I'm not really happy about his comments, but I'm going to read them anyway. He said, he said,
Well, it's
no,
not
sorry,
really him who
it's not
said.
him.
Yeah.
People were
People
were
said.
saying
Luo
Luo
men.
ladies are very proud and loud, and so Luo men cannot marry a
Luo men are the same.
Another one said, most Luo ladies are club hoppers and value things that are of no importance. They are also not patient with their men. That is why the men love to marry outside. Another one, Luo women demand too much and want expensive lifestyle. They even forget to invest. Who would want such a woman? Here's the thing, the grouping that once you're from this tribe, you cannot get out. First of all, she's a prime example. Her man is Kikuyu and she is Luya, and they're happily
I thought
married.
you were about to say I'm Lu. I was about to be like,
No.
I tell you that.
Right, so there's been a lot of heat because people believe, especially when someone is successful, it feels like if you marry someone outside, it's like you're a traitor.
But still, you know, like,
I know, in
generation.
2019.
Yeah, and this generation is not really predominant, but that's why I feel like this might have been like older men who were answering these like messages or whatever, because there's a lot of tribalism that goes on in Kenya, period, point blank. We can't argue about that. There's tribalism, period. But I feel like, you know, like with this day and age, it's 2019, we have a new generation of youngsters coming up, like, Why? That's like me not marrying a white man. Because, all right, never mind.
Which might be on your radar.
No, but
you trying
I
to tell
feel like
something?
those borders should be breaking down as of now. Like even like there's so many things about Kikuyu women. Like I've been told like Kikuyu
Kiambu
women will like
women.
kill you at the gate.
They will.
Why at the gate?
I don't know,
'Cause
but
they don't want
it
you
is
to
at the
become
gate.
excited.
It can't be, your blood can't get on the compound. You know,
All
they-
right,
they
Oh my
gotta
okay,
get-
okay.
gosh, really?
But no, goodness. I feel like though, and maybe like, okay, my brother is Luo. He's the Luo from Rusinga, yeah. And let me tell you something. All these things that they're saying about Luo women, he is, okay? He's loud, he likes clubbing, he likes looking good. He's, yeah, like, first of all, if you're going, I feel like it's weird to separate the genders when you're talking about tribe because they never separate the genders when talking about Kikuyus. It's just like, it's more...
Kikuyus like
peop-
money.
She said it, not me, not me. But it's this thing of like, why bother doing this? Why bother putting them down kind of thing? Like, he found a woman he loved. I highly doubt he went all the way to Taita just so he could date somebody. Like, maybe they met in Nairobi. But what I do like about this is I feel like it's a good example of opposites attract because she is so incredibly under the radar. No one even knows she existed. And I think that's even a statement that he made about her, that it's like she puts up with a lot of his BS, and so that's why he thinks they're going to work. Yeah, he made a statement. He's like, you put up with his
I
craziness,
take that
with
as
his
a
That's
weirdness.
offensive in
That
so
is
many ways,
very
right?
offensive.
Like for you to be wife
You
like
material.
she's
so much
patient.
of my crap. That is why you are wife material.
Right.
It's horrible.
It's-
And
yeah.
honestly,
That's what he fell in love
I
with.
was really surprised when I heard that he got married because he's like straight up can be pretty much a sexist. Some of the things he says are horrifying.
She's probably
So
not
I
on
was like,
social media.
is there someone who's at home to this?
Honestly, I'm just wondering if he's taking care of her, right, or if he's just feeding her pizza. Because remember last week even, we had talked about it. It was Jalango in the news who was talking about, oh no,
sponsors.
don't,
Maybe she is
don't
impressed by
spoil
pizza.
them, don't spoil these women out here, blah, blah, blah. Hey, if you got married to Jalango, I can't
I
help
know,
you,
but
sis.
you know what sometimes I sit and I wonder is like, you know how people say, okay, you shouldn't like obviously judge someone based on their tribe.
Yeah.
But it's like whenever there's a certain kind of crime being committed, it's like one particular kind of tribe that it's
That
being
committed it.
attributed. That
Do you want to
committed
give
it.
examples?
you wanna give an
No, I feel like there's a value waters.
It's very in general, you know what I'm
feel like
saying?
they're attacking
Exactly. And I feel like, but I also feel like some of the things these people are mentioning about Luo women are also like, could be seen as positive things. You know, like if you like to club, you like to club. Why is that a crime?
If
It's
you're
not a crime.
independent and loud, big
Yeah.
deal. It's a good thing.
Right?
Men value
Anyway,
it.
Jalango, we wish you all the best with your new
Amina,
babe.
we wish you all the
We
best.
wish, exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
You
keep
will.
putting up with that BS. We hope it takes you
Yes.
far. Now,
Ground
from
him.
one relationship which is being made official to one that we are just speculating about. We don't know.
We know.
We
Here
don't
for
know.
the tea.
We
We
don't even
know.
know
We are
if
here
it's,
for the
I don't
tea.
even know if we can say it's a relationship. So, earlier today, one Eric Omodi put up some
Hey.
pictures. Some very, I wouldn't even say they're suggestive. I would just say they're very
Obvious?
just lovely. Yeah, they're just very lovely pictures of him and Jackie MARIBE, who we are not sure about the nature of their relationship
Hey.
with their child, and they're apparently at some. The picture is not even captioned, right? And the pictures, from what it looks like they're having some very fun family time. They look like they're very happy. They look like they're having some intimate moments. Yeah. And I mean, we want to know. I mean, I want to know, like, what's happening, guys?
The thing is, oh
What's
my
happening?
God.
Are these guys, are they dating? Is this just a stunt? She
As
already
I
said
this
she's
is-
single.
This
at
is
some
what
point.
I said. No matter what they're doing, I feel like the whole pictures thing is like, oh, let people talk about us. Of course, they get this deal from that company and they get to go on holiday and whatever else. I don't think it's a legit relationship. Like, I don't. We saw how he was with his ex-girlfriend.
Yep.
He was out there, this is the woman I love and all this. He was very intentional
But it's the
and
beginning.
clear.
This could be the beginning
Even with
stages.
Chantal from the beginning, he was saying, it was very clear. He was
Yeah.
saying, this is my girl,
Yeah.
right? This just seems like we know people are going to talk about it. Let's do it. Let's just take the pictures. I do think, though, there are some relations going on.
I
And
believe.
wait, before you continue, speaking of his ex, I'm on his Instagram post right now, and someone commented, a random follower commented and said, someone check if Miss Shanti, that's her handle
Is
on Instagram,
cool.
is okay. And then she has responded to that comment and said, I'm very good, thanks.
They
Smiley
broke
face.
up peacefully.
But
like,
they
and that was
did. They
ages
did have a
ago.
peaceful breakup.
Yeah.
But me personally, I don't know. Eric Omondi is such a clown that I don't believe anything he posts. Like, so right now, like with this is a stunt to me.
It is.
Honestly, until he outright like has a question and answer conversation with me, and he's like, yes, this is my honey and this is my son. Shoot, I don't even know if that's his son.
First of all,
I know it's his son. I'm just
and like that to me, because I don't know about y'all, I do not like it when people for any period of time try and keep it low key that they have a kid. So I'm just happy that finally everyone's like speculating. Now it's very obvious. At least finally now that kid can be in the spotlight. That's the thing. Like that can be nobody's kid.
But wait,
But what do you mean you don't like it when
I don't
that
like
it's a
when people
secret?
try and hide their kids. As in, because if you asked Eric, you have a kid, do you think he would have said yes? No, he was never open about it, and now he has it with a woman who's in the spotlight. Personally, though, I agree with how you're saying. I feel like she's had some drama in the past, and she's trying to distance herself from that drama, and this is a good way to do it.
I mean, and talk about drama. Eric Omondi on that.
Drama.
Who knows? Because who even knows if he was like with Shanti when he had this kid? Who knows? We don't know. But talk about drama. Terrence, creative. He's an online content creator. He recently had a question and answer segment on Monday evening, and he revealed that he has cheated on his wife, who is Millie CHEBBY. Yes, so he was cheating with Anita Soina. He was cheating with Anita Soina. And according to Anita Soina, who also had an interview on a YouTube blogger's page, she admitted that she was in a relationship with Terrence for a couple of months while he was married. Hey!
In a relationship,
In a relationship.
Not just having relations.
While he was married. She said it outright, and she was not sad about it. And hold on. But she said, like, her biggest mistake, she apologized to herself. She admits she was wrong. She apologized to herself, and she says that things started changing when she started getting threatening messages from Terrence and the wife. Like,
Why is Terrence? Terrence, you went to her willingly. What do you mean
Here's
threatening
the
her
thing,
for?
yeah, I feel like, you know how I feel about, men who have no discipline when it comes to, fidelity. Like, I feel so passionate about it. However, if we do get past it, can that be the last time we talk about it? Why are we talking about it publicly? It's like, for example, when you guys go through something in your marriage, why is that not in your marriage? Because guess what? Like, this woman here is like someone who we know them as Terrence and her.
Yeah.
And when you add something else to it, it muddies the picture.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't need to know any of this.
Okay, let me answer that a little bit, because even Terrence went on to explain that he had, talked to his wife about the cheating allegations, and I guess apparently they were
Not
true, and him and
allegations.
they were
Facts.
true.
No,
Yes, facts. And apparently they were true, and him and his wife were able to move on. It's this Anita, the side piece, who wants to come out now and tell her side of the story.
We would not be
That's
talking
the-
about it if she's the only one who said it. We are talking about it
Because
because
he
you are
acknowledged
open enough to acknowledge it. Because, by the way, when Kipchoge won, did you guys not hear? There's this girl who came out to say that apparently
I'm
she was
carrying
pregnant with
his
his
baby.
baby.
What?
It didn't make news
Chills,
because guess
sis.
what?
Yeah.
He
It
didn't
wasn't true.
validate
Yeah.
it. He didn't make
Yeah.
news of it.
Yeah.
Because when now you make news of it, we are talking about it.
But
Very true.
I think there are many reasons why someone might want to come out and validate those things, because like what you're saying is that at some point when now CHEBBY discovered they were having a relationship, she started threatening Anita, and then Terrence was like now trying to defend, and it was such a messy thing. I think for the person who is cheated on, sometimes you might want the world to know that this person cheated on me.
Yeah.
And like like Beyonce
Yeah,
did
yeah.
it,
Oh my God,
right?
I couldn't.
And for some people, that's part of like therapy. That's part of
Healing.
like
It is.
healing and maybe for him, he's like, he doesn't want people out there just like talking, like rumors about him and CHEBBY. In fact, for such things, I feel like the more you say it, now once you've said it, it's not even news.
Exactly.
Because it's not
Yeah.
like,
Oh
oh
my
my
God,
God.
And
did this happen?
that's
Did
what
it
I
happen?
feel about this situation
Yeah.
too.
I
Especially.
feel the humiliation that comes with it, this is very personal for me. So for me, the humiliation that comes with the whole scenario is just not worth it.
You
maybe
as the
some
person
people
who has
think
been
it's
cheated
like,
on.
Yeah.
maybe it's kind of cathartic in a sense. You know, it's like, you know, because when you view yourself, or when at least you kind of are someone in the public eye, you feel like, okay, it's gonna get out anyways, I might as well have a say in the matter kind of thing. But it really does depend on how you want to treat your relationship, with or without the cheating. How is it in the public eye, if at all? Will you guys get on the hashtag #IbruLisTalk and the text tone 40920, because we want to know, I mean, do you agree with Terrence, or should he kept his mouth shut? But we have another story going on the other end of the planet, but still someone who affects us all greatly. He is from my hometown, Chicago, Kanye West. Now, Kanye West, Jesus. So the thing about him is he, in my opinion, have been on a downward spiral for a while now. He does, and he has confirmed he has bipolar disorder, and he chooses to treat it with more what he identifies as holistic ways, and has yet to find a medication who he believes works with him. He has declared himself a pastor. He's recently released an album that was, I guess you could identify as a gospel album, but he came out and said that he is the greatest artist, the greatest human artist of all time. I think it is great that he is confident in his abilities, and he acknowledges that he has been a hit maker and influential in the industry. Look at Joe laughing next to me. But the thing is, I don't know if this is teetering on the side of mania. What do you guys think?
I feel like, okay, let me tell you my opinion. This
Yes.
is teetering on the side of mania because, first of all, you can't identify and call yourself a pastor if you haven't gone through the proper channels of becoming a pastor.
Theology.
There's
Number
loads
one.
of Kenyan people right now who can
Who
definitely...
are
Who
just
can
definitely
disagree.
talking crap
I
about
disagree,
you.
but okay. Anyways, even Kanye West has gone on to say that he's running for presidency
In 2024.
2024. Come on. I mean, I will give Kanye some kudos because his spirit and I love how he like empowers himself through words. Like, but he's empowering himself. He's empowering. He's not empowering
anybody else.
I don't know if anybody has heard this new album of his. I've heard like snippets.
love
Jesus is king.
People are loving it. There's a lot of like mixed feelings about it because like there's songs that are like Kirk Franklin type style. I like that. Then there's other songs. It's like you hear gunshots. It's like, okay, hold on. Do I duck or should I praise the Lord?
Yeah, so...
Okay, I think, sorry.
No, go on.
Okay, fine. I think, first of all, if you have to say that you're the greatest of all time,
Maybe you're not.
chances are, sir, that you're not. It's like when you meet a guy who's like, yeah, I'm so good in bed. Survey says no. Secondly, I'm like, me, if he wants to be a pastor and his album is all about Jesus and what, like, good for him. Let him try and do his thing. But I honestly think that he's lost it. And I feel like this is just one of those cases that I hope we don't wake up one day and like Kanye West has committed suicide.
Okay,
Yeah.
so first
Or
things
worse.
first,
Yeah.
I feel like none of us are doctors, so making observations about whether or not he's a mania or not, like that's not our job. No one's a doctor, and he's admitted that he's bipolar. That's his problem. How he's gonna deal with it, his behavior. We can't tell. We don't know him personally. We don't know if this is like him being happy, excited, or mania. Not doctors. Second thing, so he said when people are producing this album that
That he made them.
you cannot have premarital intercourse while production. Explain to me, Kanye,
Thank you.
how that affects this.
Because he wanted them to stay
focus.
committed.
Yeah.
He wanted them to focus on the fact that it was a
Jesus.
gospel album.
He
Wait,
wants to focus
A
on
and B
Jesus.
have nothing to do with each
Well,
other.
yeah, but if you,
Yes.
Lydia,
He even
if you out
said-
there sinning,
He even said like he told them he wanted them to fast
Yeah.
and not have premarital
Yes.
intercourse. Like he wanted them to focus on Jesus. He wants you like that's like me like hiring you for a job and telling you, you know what, Lydia, no intercourse, you can't eat
No
hamburgers, no
drinking.
pizza, no drink.
I think
if I tell
it's
you
noble. It's noble that he's trying to go the Jesus route
But
if it's genuine.
can you do
But
it over
yeah,
there?
Exactly.
Thank you.
It's a bit extreme, and he needs to just.
I feel
chill.
like it's like an abusive. Like there's got to be something in the workers' rights things where he can't
You
control
can't do that.
How do you
You
check?
know, you gotta
can't check.
unionize the music industry.
Yeah, when I come to work and I
just gonna
feel like,
lie.
oh,
Yeah,
the
exactly.
spirit is within me.
I mean, there's no way
Maybe
he could
it's my
enforce it.
man, you know? Like, you don't know.
There's
Like,
no way he could
you
enforce
can't
it.
know. Whatever brings me to the table feeling excited and ready for work is
Yeah.
like all, it's all that matters. I actually think that Kanye is super talented. I do feel like he does go on the extreme end of everything. Even some of his comments I feel are rude and super insensitive, and I don't think he holds enough the position which he has, especially in the black community. He just, you know, willy-nilly just walks around with like, I do what I want, which I feel like is his prerogative, but I can see where most people do feel like you know, Kanye was ours.
Yeah.
You know that we were that, he was that guy who we were like, you know, he came from
we have
nothing.
cool
Dropped out of
rappers.
high
Yeah,
school.
cool
What was
people.
that album?
But then when
Now,
it came, when
yeah.
up, high school dropout.
school
And then as it got up, it's like he kind of detached himself,
Yeah.
and that feeling, people feel like they got cheated because majority of people who are like, you know, pushing it was the black community.
that happen?
But it
When
had to
he married Kim.
deal. No, his mom passed away. He went through like mental
Suddenly.
health problems, and he married. Kim
I don't know
Kardashian.
if Kim has anything to do with it.
I
It
feel
doesn't
like,
help
though,
the picture.
I mean, the
just
thing,
say it.
the thing that is though is she has also released statements that she's not necessarily pushing him in any direction. Like she's not encouraging for him to get help. She's not encouraging for in any way. So, like Lydia said, we don't know what the inner workings of their household are.
Yeah.
But the fact that he is a person of influence in society as a whole makes me nervous about sort of the prerogative that he does push, the propaganda that because first of all, if like you close friends with D. Trump, who's like locking kids up in, you know, internment camps and stuff, I don't know how easily I can support you. But at the end of the day, this story is about, you know, is he the GOAT or not? I kind of don't think so. Yes or no? No.
I don't think. I feel like Michael Jackson lived.
Yeah,
You know,
thank
he
you.
said
Like,
of all
thank you.
time,
Yeah.
Thank
of
you.
all
Of all
time,
time, of like the
Michael
whole human
Jackson,
race.
Jackson,
lived.
Prince, you can name
You know,
so many
ethic
others.
live.
Calm it down.
Okay,
Bring it back to earth.
Umepanic.
Okay, so we're gonna move on because
Bring it
like
back.
I don't know what's gonna happen now that
Hey.
Lydia put ethic on the same thing of
Bring
Michael
it
Jackson. But we gotta get into Ask the Girls now.
At the end.
Hashtag play KE.
At
No,
the end.
Ask the Girls.
I was not ready for that.
I think they're
Okay, so we are back with Ask the Girls. And Ask the Girls, as you know, is a segment where you as the viewer get to send in something to preferably our Ebru Let's Talk _ official Instagram page. And you get to send in whatever's going on in your life. So we have a viewer here who sent us in. We're going to get right into it. Hello, I would appreciate if you gave me your advice. I am 22 years old and 8 months pregnant. My problem is that I feel as if my boyfriend ready to settle, but he doesn't show it outright. Sometimes he is so caring and he even takes me for my checkups, but sometimes he does things that make me doubt him. I feel as if he is cheating on me, though I have no evidence. When I ask him about his plans, he shifts the topic and pretends to be stressed out. I feel confused since I don't know what he wants, and I fear he will just leave. My dad, on the other hand, is so angry at me since I was to graduate next month and I'm due next month and the dates coincide. He actually kind of disowned me. I don't want to force my boyfriend to settle with me, and if he is not ready or doesn't want to. Also, I am getting a boy, so I am finding it hard to name him after my dad after everything he said, and still doesn't think it's wise to name him after my boyfriend's dad when he hasn't made things official. Currently, I live with him, but he still insists that I pay my own place, and I don't get why. Please advise me on how I can approach the situation. So we framed this as, how do you know if your partner is ready to settle? So I feel like she's having sort of two different conflicts. So we're going to handle the one as far as the boyfriend. Do we think that he actually wants to settle down with her? And how do you think she should approach the situation? Ladies?
Excuse me,
Yes.
madam. If you have to ask yourself whether or not he is serious about you, he is not serious about you. A man who is serious about you will let you know. And if he needs more time for him to figure out where your relationship is going, he will be man enough to tell you. The fact that I don't understand why you're living with him, first of all, but living with him and you're still paying rent at your own place.
by the way.
I don't understand that at all. The fact that you say you think he's cheating on you, although you have no evidence, chances are that he is cheating on you. The fact that you're saying that when you ask him about, where your relationship is, he shifts the topic. No, I'm sorry. I don't know how
feel
else
like
to say this.
I don't think these are red flags. I feel like these are red lorries.
Like
Hey, I was gonna
sirens?
shrub there.
Lorries.
Lorries.
Yes, it's like big, giant gates. And I know I can empathize being in your situation even without being pregnant. I can imagine how that feels to be in love with someone, to want a future with them, but they are not here, they're not there, but they're not leaving you, but they're not making things like solid. I know that feeling of being in a gray area where you are like, should I stay longer and work on it and maybe that will work, or should I just leave and maybe I'll regret it because maybe it's just time. I totally get it. You have a child though who you're going to bring into this world, and I know people don't take this seriously, but the energy that the child is brought in the first couple of their years really does affect them. So if you're coming if your baby is going to come in an environment where it's confusion, you're not sure where you stand, you don't know what's happening with him financially, you don't know if he wants to make things right with you, if he wants to marry you, that's not going to help when the baby comes, because guess what? You're going to have somebody else to take care of someone. So you're going to have someone to take care of, and you don't have anyone taking care of you. Sometimes when a man is there and they're not being the right thing for you, they are liability. They are an extra baggage, as opposed to you being by yourself and knowing at least it ain't nothing.
At least you're just on your own.
And on top of that, we've talked about this plenty of times before. Communication is key. If you don't know, you've tried. If you didn't communicate and you didn't set those boundaries and told him, yo, this is what it is, this is how it's gonna go, and if he doesn't like it, then he can bounce. Well, this is really hard to say, like coming from a pregnant woman, especially a pregnant woman. I can only think about like when my cousin was pregnant and like her and her boyfriend, like they kind of broke up like at the end of her pregnancy. So she had the baby like without him. He like disowned, he didn't want anything to do with the children, with the child. And then it's like a year, like almost to a year later is when he like came back into her life. He was accepting of the child, he loved the child, and that's when he realized like, yo, I made this, like, and it's sad, but that's like what happens with guys. Like the guys aren't carrying this child. It's the woman who's carrying this child, and it's hard. It's gonna be hard on you, especially even after having the kid. And the guys don't even realize it until they're like, yo, I made this child.
Yeah, I mean, fathers feel like they become fathers at different times. Sometimes I've heard it say the first time they hold the baby. Sometimes, you know, they say the moment they can feel it kick through the belly or something. But I think at the end of the day, what does have to be acknowledged is you are 8 months pregnant. He is probably going to be somehow in your life, whether it's a distant memory or really upfront forever. He's going to be a character in your life forever. And so how you want to handle it forward moving with him, that is entirely up to you. But what I personally would recommend is consider your future now the primary concern, because your future equals baby's future. So as far as like the thing you said about graduating, please, girl, graduate. Please just get that degree, girl. Please just graduate. Please focus on the fact that you're bringing in a new life into the world, and we want to make sure that you and that life have an amazing time.
Most definitely.
So we're going to talk about, I think, the next half of it, which is more focused on her dad, I guess we could say. So her relationship with her dad, obviously we know is suffering. So I guess the question now is, how do you feel like we should advise her in mending the relationship with her dad?
I think the first thing should be she needs to prioritize the relationship with her dad vis-a-vis what it seems now is she's prioritizing the relationship with her boyfriend. Because honestly, the boyfriend is like, we don't know whether he's here, there, we don't know. But your dad is your dad. And if this guy flakes, it looks like, I think it seems like she's at a point in her life where she doesn't really have a job or anything. So she's looking for someone who's going to be supporting her. I'm guessing how she's paying her rent is through her dad. So I would say that you need to prioritize fixing your relationship with your dad. I would, if I was in that situation, like organize for like a talk. You can have like your mom there or some support, and just like have a sit down conversation with your dad and be like, okay, I know that, you know, I made a mistake and this has happened, but I would really appreciate, you know, your support, because now I'm here, but I've learned from what has happened. I really want for our relationship to be mended going forward, and I don't want to do this without you. I think that needs to be the priority before your baby is born.
Yeah, I totally agree, because let me tell you, boyfriends come and go. But a lot of family, is like most people survive through things because they had a good family support system. But I want to just advise you that your dad is disappointed on a different level than you can imagine, because of course it was a mistake, and you know, mistakes happen, but sometimes parents are not even angry at us because we've done the worst thing in the world. They're just scared for us. You know, I'm sure he's thinking, you know, this is my young daughter, she's got a baby now, she hasn't graduated, and what he's seeing is a future that he did not want for you. So if it's not even disappointment because he's being so judgmental, it's from a fear of what now for you. So if you come from a place, especially like just understanding your dad's anger, that might go a long way in mending the situation, because at least he'll see that you get it. You get why he's so disappointed. But if your dad, like there's one of my family friends who is, the dad was like, if you have a baby with anyone who's not Kikuyu, I don't want to hear it. Right? If you are married or you have a child with a baby who's anyone who's and guess what? We were raised in England. So I don't know, you could have kept us in the shamba, bro. You know, even me. And at the time when he was telling me this, I had a whole Nigerian boyfriend. So I used to be like, oh. But when she did get pregnant, she had a baby with a Ghanaian, it was a straight up no. So he's like, completely disowned her, no conversation, no nothing. There needs to be a line. Abusive and toxic family members are also not okay. As much as you want to mend your relationship with your dad, you've got to think that his ideologies and his mannerisms will also affect your child if he's going to be in your child's life. So find a balance. If your dad is just angry and disappointed, completely makes sense. But if he's gearing towards affecting your mental health, then you've got to also think that, you know, it's about you too.
Whew, I mean, Lydia, like, geez, I don't even know what to say. But I totally agree. Like, make sure you mend that relationship with your father, your mother, like, have a close family relationship, and I think that is better than
As for whether you should name the child after your dad or your husband or your boyfriend,
if you're not married, don't.
If you're do not do it. What I did actually when I had my child at 19, I didn't name him after either my family name or his family name. I just gave him 2 English names and that was it. And I was like, when he grows up, he can choose which name he wants to have.
Okay.
So yeah. I mean,
unconventional.
yeah, exactly. It's very unconventional. But definitely I would just say don't do it with the boyfriend's name.
Yeah, definitely the boyfriend needs to heal.
Do we feel like we've given her...
I feel like
And I feel like you guys made really good points. Really, the key to drive home is you can mend a relationship with somebody and still not have them in your life. You can heal without that person having to be toxic to you.
Absolutely. But now that we're on such a roll, I feel like we can help another lady
Another
out there.
one.
What do you think?
Another
And this
one.
next one is, I feel like it's a question for so many unmarried women out there, you know, and I feel like it can really help. So this lady wrote to us and she said, hi, I learned a lot from your platform. Thank you. And thank you again to everybody who watches and everybody who sends in their questions. So she just gets right into the question and she says, I want to get people's thoughts and opinions and even experiences, if you guys have any. She says, can one ever be 100% ready for marriage? Nope. She recently watched Janet Mugo's interview on Betty Chalo's show, and she advised those hoping to get married to settle down when they are ready. And of course, this is what a lot of people who have gone before us say, which I also say. So for some of us who are looking to get married, possibly in the next year or so, and trying to prep ourselves as much as we can, is it possible to be completely ready for marriage? Or rather, what aspects do you think young ladies should really consider before taking this step? Like, what does being ready really mean? I love the question that she's asking. This is so pertinent. This is somebody who is really thinking about setting herself up for success in the future, and I wish more people would think like this. So there's several aspects to it. There's the what does it like? What are you supposed to do before you get married to know that you're ready? And what does being ready really mean? So I was about to say the only married woman here, but
I know.
wait,
Hold on, can I speak from a non-married woman
exactly.
point
Do you
of view?
think? So the question is, do you think it is possible to be completely ready for marriage?
I personally, I've never been married, so I feel like no. I don't think you can ever really be ready for marriage. Just like when you're having your first child, you can never really be completely ready to have this baby and know everything right off the bat, know how to take care of them, know how to do this and that. I don't think you can be completely ready for marriage, but I feel like that's a risk that you're willing to take, just like in any business relationship, any work relationship, like anything you do. I feel like that's a risk you're willing to take, but if you two are like understanding and you know where you're set in life and you know where you want to be, like I feel like that's a risk that both of you are taking, and dive right in, like go ahead and go for it. Like I'm just all love.
You sounded like Lydia now. I'm going to need you to chill. Lydia, what do you think?
That's an optimistic point of view.
I'm a person who I appreciate commitment, and I love the whole marriage, and you guys know I'm a lover of love. But because I'm so intentional about the person who I'm going to be with, this is going to be the father of my child, this is going to be the da-da-da-da-da-da. I don't think I'm not going to find anyone who I'm like, completely ready. But there's a difference between being ready and being sure. You can be sure because you love this person, you've evaluated how things go, you guys have talked about your finances, you communicate well, you clearly have a future. But that readiness is because you don't, the unknown, the question mark of what else could come up. But the sureness, before you go down the aisle, you don't need to be thinking, oh no, he'll change. Don't think he'll change.
No.
When you're sure that, as our beautiful queen says, if he doesn't change ever and he says exactly like this, are we good? And if you can say that, I feel like that's a good sign of you're sure to take the next step.
Yeah.
100% ready? I don't know.
You don't know. What do you
Oh,
think
and then I
as
wanted
a
to
seller?
add, like, there are steps that, like, a lot of, like, people take before marriage.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, going to the pastor and, like they have, like, these sessions or answering questions or some
Counseling, yeah.
counseling. That's
Marital
done.
counseling.
Yeah.
Yes,
I did
exactly. Okay, so for you, do you think it's possible to be 100% ready
No,
for
not at
marriage?
all. So I feel like the best comparison that pretty much everyone in society goes through for marriage is actually intercourse, is losing your virginity. Because you grow up, you get super excited about it, you think it's gonna be intimate and fantastic and it's this beautiful moment and everything. Everyone thinks they're gonna like lose it to candles and music. And then you don't. And it hurts and it's hard at first, but you still wanna go through it. And then you continue to go through it and you're like, wow, this can be nice, this can be fun, this can be great, this is a good experience. But it's still going to have bumps along the way, and it's like, it goes into this feeling of instead of this big romantic scene you set up, this is now like a romantic reality, and you kind of have to acknowledge it like that. Like, marriage is never what you think it's going to be, so no, you can never be 100% prepared for it.
I completely agree with you because you can't be 100% ready for something you have never experienced.
Yes.
Which is why whenever people are always talking about like, oh, especially whenever I hear someone who's not married giving me marriage advice, I'm just like,
How,
okay,
though?
I
tell
hate
me
you.
more, tell me more, because I'm just like, don't even, like, you
literally-
can't, you just do not know what it's gonna feel like unless you're in that situation. But what's interesting is when we're going through premarital counseling, one of the questions we were asked is, ask yourself really deeply, like, what are the things you think you're going to get in marriage that are making you want to take this step? So for me, it was things like, oh, financial stability, you know, regular intercourse, things like that. For him, it was like, oh, just, you know, a woman who can give me children. You know, things that if you really think about it, that's the reason why you want to get married. Not just, I want to hug this person for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
But when you really think about it, I mean, for me, I was like, we weren't completely ready, but we are managing to make it work. And that's what's fantastic.
Continuously work.
And let me tell you, I know this is weird, but I'm a Googler of everything. And if you Google 8 things or 10 things I need to consider before marriage, they might give you a light on what other people also think are important, and that might be able to give you a sign. We're all different, so whatever we're looking for in marriages are different. We hope you have topped up your juices or your tea, because we are about to introduce a very dapper gentleman. He's a fantastic photographer, and most people in the industry do know him as one of the very top in the game. Needs no more introduction. It's none other than Sebastian Wanzalla.
Welcome.
Hello, ladies.
Yeah, the energy on the table has
It's
changed.
just
Now
too
it is
much,
such-
too much.
I feel like
Right.
we're all
I
kind
can
of
feel it when I was
staring.
walking.
Really? You're a mellow guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I like it. Yeah.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about Wanzalla, how you came to be where you are. By the way, I met Wanzalla at a shoot. He was working for, of course, a big corporation, and I was doing commercial modeling. So tell us, how did it get to all of this?
To be honest, I owe it to the late former CEO from Safaricom.
Right.
He gave us an opportunity for African photographers to actually shoot the Safaricom calendar.
Right.
And it's through that, after the first shoot, we did an amazing calendar. It was really beautiful. And then after that, now corporate started looking in, and I was approached by advertising agencies. And yeah, that was more like my springboard.
Right.
But you did graphic design. Then
Yeah,
you
yeah,
went
that's
to
actually
photography.
my background. I think that's also the reason why it's actually easy for me to work with advertising agencies, because I used to be the guy who's coming up with the concept, but now I'm working with those people who are actually developing them and bringing the image, you know, the campaigns and everything to life. So it has been a very smooth transition for me, because I see what the art directors, what the designers come up with, and we just build it and give it life.
Yeah.
So we always ask this question, like, where did you come from, like, back in the day? Like, growing up, like, even college days, like, did you know you wanted to be a photographer, a graphic designer? Like, did you know you wanted to be creative?
The good thing about what I'm doing right now, and like I said again, it's been a very easy transition. Art has always been in the family. My dad used to draw pictures of us. I used to draw and sell, you know, whatever I could do, whatever I could come up with. And strange enough, someone actually stopped me on my avenue one day and was like, you know what, in primary school, you used to draw Mickey Mouse cartoon and you'd sell them to us. And I'd actually forgotten about that. No, it was a dude. It was a dude. It was a dude. It was not a woman. Yeah. So yeah, through that, so I was always in the art room. In high school, I was in art, and when I was done, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. And yeah, so I joined APT.
Wow. So I was just going to ask you, because that's the application to the corporate world, and it's fantastic you came in with an art background. But now, where does your joy come in as far as graphic design and photography? What do you enjoy shooting? What about it, you know, livens you kind of thing?
The good thing about art, or what I can say about, is that based on your mood and based on your current lifestyle, based on where you are right now, based on your journey, you definitely get to comprehend art in your own way.
Right.
Like I could tell you, this is an abstract painting or whatever, and you would pick it up and you'd be like, you know what, it represents this, or it represents my life, or it represents prosperity, it represents whatever is in your mind and what you can actually use to uplift you. But also there's art, and then there's also shady art. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah.
And then there's what you do for fun, then there's also now like
What
jobo.
makes you
Yes,
money?
exactly. Yeah, I'm drawn to people a lot, cultures, you know, beautiful places. That's why I enjoy, you know, the work that comes with a lot of travel.
Yeah, we saw that on your page. You
Yeah.
enjoyed
Yeah, I get to travel a lot. I get to see, you know, places that not every other man has seen in Kenya.
It's true.
Yeah, even most of the president maybe hasn't seen those places.
Really?
So, yeah.
Probably.
I'm part of a group called One Touch, and it's only that we've been busy. A good number of great Kenyan photographers on that platform. We used to plan every month and travel somewhere, and we'd had everyone who's shooting something totally different. Someone who would concentrate on portraits, environmental issues, landscape, and all that. And we'd borrow from each other, and that's actually what made us grow to where we are right now. And we are doing everything that we can to compete with other, you know, great minds and artists out there in the world. Yeah, so many of us are actually trying to make it past Kenya, build art that's going to be seen everywhere in the world, everywhere in Africa.
I know something which a lot of the world did see. When Kipchoge won, one of like the pictures which was like circulating, that went viral, everyone's wallpaper, was a picture you took of him. Question, how did that come about for you to shoot Kipchoge?
First of all, he's the most humble man I've ever met. I wish I could be him.
He looks it.
I wish I could be him, but I'm working on it. Yeah. Eliud, it was a campaign for a really huge corporate again. We met him, we had very limited time, we had so many people around him, his managers, whatnot, all that, but he was very willing to just, you know, work with everyone so that we can achieve our goal, which I believe happened. And like I said, he's a very, very, very humble man.
Yeah.
It's really, just when you're around him, you're in some great presence that.
Yeah. As we said, the greatest of all times, all of them tend to be like more chilled.
True,
They're
true,
goats.
true,
Not,
Real great.
not like not like our Kanye.
Exactly.
I don't want to ask you to judge your work, but I'm going to ask you to judge your work. So, what do you think if somebody could describe a Wanzalla photo? What do you think, or what are you trying to get someone to see from that?
What life should be like, something bold and unpredictable and manageable. And manageable yet still exciting.
Really?
Accessible.
A lot of the pictures which I see, especially of people, like maybe I see that. Yeah, maybe I see that in the picture you took of me as well.
Where's the picture?
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry,
by
I'll
the
show
way.
you guys.
Show us,
I'll show you guys.
What I
later
wonder
on.
though is that I feel like this age of social media has brought so many positive things, but also so many just strange things, because these days everybody with an iPhone 8 Plus and above, including myself, is a photographer. Like I just buy a camera and I'm like, I'm a photographer. You go on Visco and you put some edits and you're like, you know, I'm a photographer. Has that like affected you as a photographer in terms of like making money or getting clients, or do you feel like they just exist on different spectrums?
Different levels.
I feel like we are at the right time. If you're around this time, you're at the right time, because technology has really evolved. It has morphed into something that we look forward to more, and at the same time, we are not exactly sure if it's good for us. But it's a form of, it's a camera actually. Yeah, your phone is a camera, and based on how you use it, you'll definitely produce good results. I've seen weddings, there are photographers in the States who are actually shooting weddings on iPhone. A good number of iPhone ads have actually been shot on the iPhone itself. Yeah, so it doesn't matter what medium you use. If you want to tell a story, if you want to communicate, you just need to know the basics, the rules and what applies, or you can decide to break the rules.
Right.
Yeah, it's what you feel works for you, but like I said, it's a form, it's an equipment that you can actually use to record everything that you're doing. I believe most of you use it more than I do, though.
What, the phone?
Yeah.
I definitely use it more than most people.
Yeah. But so has it affected, like now, because more people have access to technology and all these apps and what, does it affect your ability to get work?
Not at all. It has actually created an opportunity. That simply means that you have to show everyone else that you're better than anyone who's using an iPhone. If they're coming to pay for your service, they need to know that I'm paying a professional because he knows what he's doing. But then again, at the same time, a professional could also use an iPhone. It's only that it's not the preferred media of use. But still,
you never use an iPhone.
I use my iPhone on other stuff that I believe are not exactly...
Same caliber.
Yeah, exactly. More
like
like...
cigars, like the cigars that Joe is supposed to my cigars, my whiskey.
I have no idea why we're talking about that, but it's actually a way for me to actually tell a story. And that's exactly why we have Instagram and we have cameras with really good phones and all that. So if you really know how to use it, that's exactly what you're going to use. Most bloggers use phones to, and they're actually earning pretty decent living out there. So it definitely works. But to me, it doesn't present a challenge. It presents an opportunity for me to actually create better work. So that we can have like this huge difference. This guy uses a camera that's $5,000, and this guy uses an iPhone, which is
$1,000?
Yeah, $1,000 or so. But then there's also a huge difference.
What do you think, as far as quality? Maybe let's not say. Actually, let's say quality. What about your work do you think? This is why I feel like I bring a better quality work. Is it like, you know, a lot of people don't know about photography, like lighting, I don't know, all that. Like, what do you think separates your work?
So like, what does it take to be a good photographer?
It's not just one thing. It's a lot of things. It's what I always say, first of all, is your discipline. Like I said, we're in a changing world. Technology changes every other day. Every other day, I'm trying to learn something new so that I can be a step further from... Because technology changes every other day. Every other day is something new to learn. And if you're not abreast with all these things, chances are they'll pick the other guy who can work with a better camera or a newer camera because he does this and that. So one is discipline. Try and learn every other day. The other things like your work ethic. I get that a lot. Your work ethic is also huge when it comes to now transforming your works to getting a client who's like, you know what, I need to work with this person. I need to work with this guy because the last time I worked with him, we had a smooth, easy relationship and everything just went down well.
So everybody sets goals. You know, you're a predominant name in photography in Kenya. What is one thing that you want to achieve by the end of 2019?
Took my question, Nate.
That's like 1 month away.
And literally. So,
what's something you
like,
want to shoot?
You know, something maybe you're planning for?
One, if possible, I need to travel, not in Africa, trying to see if I can make it to Asia. The second thing, I'm working on a script for like a really huge documentary. I believe it's huge. It involves Kenyans, it involves the youth a lot, it involves our sexual lives. So, but hopefully by the end of the day, I'll have put down a lot of things that will definitely build it into a framework that can, hopefully in a year's time, be put out there as something the general public can watch and appreciate, and hopefully it will be delivering a really good message to our youth.
In the world, of course, there's like these competitions which I see, like, you know, best photo on an iPhone or
best natural photography.
Yes, you see those kind of. What are some of the competitions maybe you've been involved in and you did great?
I've bagged a couple of awards, but locally though. I have a different reason why I normally don't apply for these competitions. It has a lot to do with just the direction that I decided to pick.
Right.
Yeah. And also because of what I've been really struggling to push across is we develop work that is really good to a point where if you share it online, you're at a point where you can actually compete with everyone else in the world.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what is one of your most favorite pictures that you've ever taken? We've seen a lot of your pictures on your Insta. So if it's there,
Is
we'll
it
know
Elliot?
it. Anyone. What is one of your most
To be honest,
favorite you've taken?
it's a very difficult question. It's like asking your mom, who's your favorite kid?
Sure.
I can answer.
Hey,
I'm kidding. I can't answer. It was dope.
Yeah.
To be honest, it changes with every season. Like I get a new exciting assignment, we go shoot. It's always the memories that I come back home.
Okay, so for 2019, what's the your most favorite place that you know in your mind that you've traveled and shot?
2019. I'll talk about 2018.
Okay.
I was part of a team that created one of the best documentaries I've ever watched. It was for the Blue Economy, and I was the main photographer for the documentary, which meant that we went around all water bodies in the country in 2 weeks.
Wow.
I love seafood, and we ate fish the whole entire time.
Wait, how many water bodies are there?
Bodies
I
of
don't even
water.
know.
Like 10?
Many?
Yeah.
They don't cover that with bloggers.
Oh, they don't. I'm sorry.
I'll mention the picture, which I think is the best one. Is you should go on his page. He's gonna say his page in a minute. What are these?
Those are pelicans. Those are
Pelicans.
yeah.
That picture is absolutely beautiful. So you guys can check it out. Unfortunately, we are out of time. Like, would love to have had more time with this man, but unfortunately we can't. Thank you so much for joining us today. We have another fantastic show tomorrow, so make sure you are here at 6 p.m.